Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. We're diving into a company today that's been kind of under the radar but making waves in the market. Ready to learn about Applied Digital, ticker symbol APLD.
Yeah, let's get into it. Definitely one to watch, especially with that stock price lately.
Up almost 67% last quarter and 78% over the past year. I mean, those are gains you can't just ignore. So what's got Wall Street so excited about Applied Digital?
Well, for one thing, they're in a hot space right now. Artificial intelligence and high-performance computing. You know, all those advancements we keep hearing about. Applied Digital seems to be right in the thick of it.
Okay, so they're plugged into the future of tech, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But before we go too deep on Applied Digital, let's take a step back. What's the overall market mood these days?
Yeah, good point. I think we're starting 2025 with this cautious optimism. Investors are looking for solid signs that the economy is strong to back up this rally. Everyone's waiting for that December jobs report.
Ah, the December jobs report, the
Yeah.
big one. Why does that matter so much? Especially for a company like Applied Digital.
Well, employment data is like a vital sign. More jobs usually means more spending, which is good for everyone. But for a tech company like Applied Digital, a strong economy could mean even more investment, more demand for their services.
Right, it's like a snowball effect. Strong economy fuels growth and innovation, and companies like Applied Digital can really thrive. Okay, let's get back to Applied Digital's performance. You said their stock is doing great, but give us the details. Just how impressive are we talking?
So their stock closed recently around $7.79, and analysts are projecting an upside of 37.5%, so a potential price target of $10.71. And some are even more bullish, thinking it could hit $12.
Wow, okay, those are some big numbers. But hype can only take you so far. Is there something real behind this performance? Or is it just a lot of excitement?
No, there's definitely real stuff happening. Their last earnings report was way better than expected. I'm not talking about just a little beat. They had a smaller loss than everyone thought they would, which tells me they're managing things really well. They've also been raising money strategically through convertible notes, a good move to fuel their growth.
Convertible notes, I know some of our listeners might not know what that is.
Oh, sure. Think of it like you lend money to a company, but you have the option to convert that debt into company shares under certain conditions. That's a convertible note. It helps companies like Applied Digital get funding without hurting their existing shareholders too much.
Ah, I see. So it's like a win-win.
Sure.
So they're beating earnings expectations, making smart money moves. It sounds like analysts are impressed.
Yeah, they are. All 7 analysts covering Applied Digital have given it a buy rating. That kind of agreement's a pretty big deal.
Okay, but what's getting everyone so excited? We talked about their connection to AI. Could that be the reason?
Definitely. Their revenue growth has been incredible, almost 100% year over year, and it's all tied to high-performance computing, which is basically what makes AI possible. They're putting themselves in a great spot to be a major player in AI infrastructure, and that's a market with huge potential.
So we've got a company performing well,
Yeah.
analysts love them, and they're in a booming sector. But what about the leadership? Any big changes that might be contributing to this?
Actually, yeah, they just brought on Laura Laltrello as their new chief operating officer. She's got over 20 years of experience in data centers and infrastructure. Seems like a great strategic move for them.
Yeah, bringing in a veteran to run things is always a smart move. I also noticed that institutional investors hold a big chunk of Applied Digital shares. What's that all about?
It's a good sign that big players believe in them. Institutional investors like hedge funds, pension funds, they really move the needle. They're holding about 56% of Applied Digital shares. And they've seen returns of 20% over the past year. That tells me they're happy with their investment.
So institutional investors are on board, and their actions say they think Applied Digital has a bright future. That's something to pay attention to. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the technical side of their stock performance. We've seen some ups and downs lately, testing highs above $10.50 and lows near $9. What's up with that volatility?
Yeah, those price swings are interesting. When a stock tests highs and lows like that, it can be a sign of what we call price discovery. The market's trying to figure out what the company is really worth. It's like an auction with buyers and sellers going back and forth, pushing the price up and down so they find a balance.
It's like a tug-of-war between the optimists and the skeptics.
Exactly. And that volatility, while it might seem a little scary, could be a good chance for investors to get in at a good price. But even with all these good signs, there's always risk, especially in tech, which can be up and down a lot.
Right, investing always has some risk. It's all about balancing potential rewards against those risks. and making choices that fit your goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
You got it. And you got to stay informed about both the company and what's happening in the market overall. Things change fast, so keeping your finger on the pulse is key.
That's a great point. Investing is a balancing act, and staying informed is crucial. So let's recap what we've learned about Applied Digital, ticker symbol APLD. We're talking about a company showing impressive growth, strong financials, and a strategic focus on the world of AI and high-performance computing.
And don't forget those positive reviews from the analysts, the new leadership that seems to be a good fit, and the confidence from institutional investors.
It's a pretty compelling picture, but as you said, there's always risk, especially in tech. What are some things investors should be thinking about when they're looking at Applied Digital?
That's a good question. The market's always changing. Things like the overall mood, those economic indicators we talked about, even competition within the industry, it can all affect how a company does. It's important to stay informed and be ready for things to shift.
This has been a fascinating look at Applied Digital. They seem like a company with a lot of potential in a field that's only going to get bigger in the years to come. It's exciting to see companies like this innovating and maybe even shaping the future of tech.
I agree. The way AI, high-performance computing, and data centers are coming together is really interesting. And Applied Digital seems like they're in a good position to take advantage of that.
But as with any investment, our listeners need to do their own research. Think about how much risk they're okay with, and make decisions that fit their financial goals. What are some key things to consider before deciding about Applied Digital?
Well, you have to weigh those potential rewards against the risks. Think about your time frame, your goals, and maybe most importantly, stay informed about the company and the bigger market trends. Knowledge is power when it comes to investing.
I love that knowledge is power. Couldn't agree more. So to wrap things up, given everything we've talked about today, Applied Digital's strong performance, the positive analyst sentiment, the exciting potential in AI and high-performance computing, and those strategic leadership changes. What are some specific factors you would consider before making a decision about investing in Applied Digital?
That's the million-dollar question right now. I'd be looking closely at their next few earnings reports. Can they keep this up? I'd also be watching how they're handling the competition in the AI infrastructure space. Are they getting new contracts? Are they developing new solutions that make them stand out? Those are the things that would tell me if this growth is going to last.
Great points. It's all about going beyond the headlines and understanding the whole story. This has definitely given me a lot to think about, and I hope it's done the same for our listeners.
Me too. It's always good to look at companies that are pushing boundaries and changing things up. And that's what we do here on Investing Talk Podcast. Bring you insightful conversations about companies and trends that are shaping the financial world. We want to help you, our listeners, make smart decisions and reach your financial goals.
Exactly. We believe knowledge is power, and we're here to give you the tools and insights you need to navigate the world of investing.
So if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast so you don't miss anything, and share this episode with your friends, family, anyone who might be interested in learning about Applied Digital, or just anyone who wants to learn more about investing.
Yeah, and we always want to hear from you. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. What stood out to you about Applied Digital? What other companies or trends should we talk about? Your feedback helps us make content that's relevant and engaging for you. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Investing Talk Podcast. Until next time, happy investing.
You're absolutely right. It's all about balance and knowing what's going on.
So let's sum up what we've learned about Applied Digital, ticker symbol APLD. A company with impressive growth, strong financials, and that focus on AI and high-performance computing that everyone's talking about.
And we can't forget those great analyst ratings, the new leadership that seems like a good fit for their strategy, and all that confidence from institutional investors.
It's a pretty exciting picture. But like you said earlier, there's always some risk in investing, especially in tech. What should investors keep in mind as they're looking at Applied Digital?
That's a really important question. We have to remember that the market is always in motion. Overall sentiment, economic indicators, like we talked about, even competition in the industry. It can all have an impact on a company's performance. Staying informed and being prepared for things to change is key.
This has been such a fascinating look at Applied Digital. They seem like a company with a ton of potential and operating in a space that's just going to get more and more important in the future. It's really exciting to see companies like this pushing the boundaries of innovation and maybe even shaping the future of technology.
I totally agree. The way AI, high-performance computing, and data centers are all converging is creating this fascinating landscape. And Applied Digital seems to be in a great spot to capitalize on that.
Absolutely. But as with any investment, It's crucial for our listeners to do their own homework, consider their own risk tolerance, and make choices that fit their financial goals. So what are some key things you'd say people should think about before making a decision about Applied Digital?
I think it boils down to carefully weighing the potential rewards against the risks. Consider your investment timeline, your goals. And most importantly, stay informed about the company and those broader market trends we discussed. Knowledge really is power when it comes to investing.
Love that knowledge is power. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. Okay, so to wrap things up, considering everything we've talked about, Applied Digital's strong performance, the positive outlook from analysts, the potential in AI and high-performance computing, and the changes in leadership. What are some specific things you would consider before deciding about investing in Applied Digital?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? For me, I'd be watching their next few earnings reports closely to see if they can keep this momentum going. I'd also be paying attention to how they're navigating the competition in AI infrastructure. Are they winning new contracts? Are they coming up with innovative solutions that differentiate them? Those are the signs that would tell me if this growth is sustainable over the long term.
Those are excellent points. It's about looking past the surface and really understanding the story. This conversation has given me a lot to think about, and I hope it's done the same for our listeners.
Yeah, me too. It's always inspiring to look at companies that are pushing the envelope and challenging the way things are done.
And that's exactly what we strive to do here on Investing Talk Podcast, bringing you insightful conversations about the companies and trends that are shaping the financial world. Our goal is to empower you, our listeners, to make informed investment decisions and achieve your financial goals.
Absolutely. We believe that knowledge is power, and we're here to equip you with the tools and insights you need to navigate the exciting world of investing.
So if you enjoyed this episode, please do us a favor and subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast. That way you won't miss any future episodes. And while you're at it, share this episode with anyone you know who might be interested in learning about Applied Digital, or just anyone who wants to boost their investment knowledge.
And we always love hearing from you, so please leave a comment and tell us what you think. What impressed you about Applied Digital? Are there any other companies or trends you'd like us to cover? Your feedback helps us tailor the content to what you're interested in.
Thanks so much for joining us on Investing Talk Podcast. We'll see you next time.
One thing I always recommend is taking a look at the company's investor relations website. You can usually find presentations, transcripts of earnings calls. Stuff like that can give you a much better sense of their strategy and their financials. And of course, it never hurts to see what other analysts are saying. Read some reports from different firms, see what they think. Look for any red flags or any places where opinions might differ.
Those are great tips. It's all about getting as much information as you can and forming your own opinion. We've covered a lot today, but at the end of the day, the decision is yours.
Right, and remember, investing isn't just about picking stocks. It's about building a diversified portfolio that matches your risk tolerance and your long-term goals. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, no matter how promising a company seems.
That's a crucial point. Diversification is key for riding out the ups and downs of the market. Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Applied Digital. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty energized after learning about this company. They're doing some really interesting work in a space that's ripe for growth. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on them.
Me too. It's always inspiring to see companies pushing boundaries and maybe shaping the future.
And that's what we're all about here on Investing Talk Podcast, bringing you insightful conversations about companies and trends that are shaping the financial world. We want to give you, our listeners, the knowledge and confidence to make informed decisions and achieve your financial goals.
Absolutely. We believe that knowledge is power. And we're here to give you the tools and insights you need to navigate the sometimes complex but always exciting world of investing.
So if you enjoyed this episode, please do us a favor and subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast. That way you won't miss out on any of our future deep dives. And hey, why not spread the knowledge? Share this episode with your friends, your family, anyone who might be interested in Applied Digital, or anyone who's looking to learn more about investing.
And we always love to hear from you, our listeners, so drop us a comment and let us know your thoughts. What stood out to you about Applied Digital? What other companies or trends are you curious about? Your feedback helps us create content that's relevant and engaging.
Thanks for joining us on Investing Talk Podcast. We'll see you next time. Happy investing.